Welcome to the Reader Analysis paper. You're listening to this Jing, the assignment Jing right here. Please look at these sample papers, especially sample 3, which gives you a good idea of the kind of micro analysis of your reading that I'm interested in you doing. So here's the assignment. The Reader Analysis paper is an exercise in the critical reading strategy I call reading to write, practice of analyzing a writer's techniques and style to become better writers ourselves. So in this assignment, the reader analysis paper, you will examine the practice of reading to write. This first paper will give you strategies to more comfortably control your writing so that you can, in the remaining writing assignments in this course, produce texts with the rhetorical effects you desire. The underlying assumption here is that most accomplished writers strive to produce variegated and complex prose, even while such efforts appear to readers to be transparent or easy as a satisfying experience in itself. So these are the goals that I like you to think about when you're writing this paper. Rather than make a comprehensive list of interesting places in Hofstadter's text, narrow your focus by isolating and discussing specifically 3 or 4 examples from the text of what you take to be the major interpretive moments with which you are confronted. And do this very particular kind of analysis where you start with a kind of an overview or you summarize a particular sentence or part, and then you tell us what you do first, and then what you do second. And maybe you have all these questions, and you should post questions about what you're reading and how the experience of reading kind of makes you um, curious about the kinds of things that are going on in the text. Okay, and then go past what you've decided to look at and then come back to it in a kind of a second way. And remember to use the reading strategies that you talk about in the beginning of the paper. So if you're doing writing in the margin, tell us what you wrote in the margin. If you're doing highlighting, tell us why you're highlighting these particular places and what the effects of it are for you as a reader. Okay, 2. When you describe these places in the text, make note of the reading strategies. Okay, I just talked about that. By the end of your essay, you should take notice of the ways in his essay, uh, take notice of the ways in his essay and your reflection on your reading process allows you to better handle the writing and the other essays in the course. So when you think about your reading strategies and how you're going through specific portions of his text, think about them in terms of your own writing techniques, how you would integrate these into the essays that you want to write. Okay, so um, take a moment when you go through the text to find particular spots where you are interested in what he's saying and tell us from the beginning what you do and then what you do next and then what you do after that. Okay, we're not interested in so much how you explain what he's talking about. Don't get into his topics. I'm not interested in you uh, telling us about cognition. I'm interested in your reading. I'm interested in you producing a particular reading. And don't feel like you have to understand everything. This is a reading. This is just you at this particular moment in time reading his essay. So there's nothing really to get here. The idea is just to tell us the story of what you did to read. So in that way, there's no anxiety. There's no uh, idea of you're doing something wrong. You can't do anything wrong because what you're doing is reading. And that process is something that we do all the time. And what I'm what I'm interested in you telling us about is what you did when you read. So it's not what you get from it, it's how you proceeded through the text, the steps that you went through. Okay? All right, thanks.